Hello and welcome to Killer Awkward Hobbies. This is a comparison video I'm doing for Drew Down. He requested a size comparison between the HBX Dune Runner. I think Red Cat bought this though now, so it's going to be something else. And then the Wltoys Across, or whatever the numbers are. I call it the Across because it says Across on it. Now, as you look at them, they're pretty similar, but keep in mind that this thing is, I've modified this quite a bit, but it does come with these tires, which are slightly smaller than the tires that come on the Dune Runner. But to compare the both, if you put it wheel nut to wheel nut, the Dune Runner's wheelbase is slightly shorter, just slightly. I would say probably maybe 2 or 3 mil, nothing much. Sorry, this thing's like, I have it all apart because I broke the rear diff, but I wanted to put it, get this video in for you. But if you look at the side view also, like that, and you line the tires up, they're the same width also. So basically, they're a lot of the same, except for this thing right here. The Wltoys Across comes with a 540 size brushed motor, and the Dune Thunder comes with a 390 size brushed motor. Surprisingly, this thing is quite a bit faster stock than this is. I would say it probably has a little more power too. Now, I did put 10th scale electronics in this thing, so I mean, weight comparison, they're about the same. I mean, this is slightly heavier, but you have to put in the fact that I put a full brushless system in this thing as well. Now, as far as like this thing's length, I know the wheelbase on it is slightly longer, and this is a little bit longer with this wing, but this thing had this big thing that hung out here with a spare tire, mounted about right there. But I cut all that off because it was basically, just added weight on the rear springs and shocks that I didn't want sticking out there. Plus, it didn't really have any purpose except for maybe, if you were to come down like that, maybe save the rear axle from taking the impact, but I think it looks way better like this. Now, as far as things I can say about these, like I said, this one has the smaller 390 size motor, but it is faster stock and it probably has a little bit more power. This thing, they're both really hard to work on. That's the thing I found out about these cheaper graded RCs, is that they're a lot more technical to take apart and put back together. They have smaller hardware, so it is quite the pain in the butt to take these things apart. But I also brought 2 motors to show the difference. Now, I know this is a crawler motor or whatever, but this is a 540 size motor, and this is a 390 size motor that I bought for this thing to hopefully upgrade it. But I have to get a pinion because the shaft is a little big for the pinion that comes stock in this, but we'll get it all figured out. But see the difference in size? That's what you're looking at. 540, 390, it's a lot smaller, more petite or whatever. But, like I said, it comes with plenty of power. It's fun to drive the way it is. We'll pop the cap off of this guy. Now, what I mean, and see how it's just a smaller motor right there, and then this thing will plug right in there, no problem. But like I said, I got to get a new pinion gear. But basically, to get the rear diff out, I had to take the motor off, and then the chassis is 2 pieces sandwiched together, and you have to take all the screws out. I've got a couple screws in to do this video. The thing was all in pieces, but and then basically you split it apart and pull the diff out from the back here, and it's got screws that go in the top and into it like that. But and I put the wing back on for this video too. But as far as like drivability stock, I would say the Dune Runner is more fun to drive stock for sure. They both come with this all-in-one ESC. That is the problem I had with this. You know, I saw people run it through water or whatever, and I don't know if it's said to be splash-proof or waterproof, but it just got a tiny little bit of water on it, and it completely shorted out. I mean, I still have it in my garage for the review video on this, but they both have this weird ESC receiver, you know, everything. The servo runs off this ESC too. So when you change out the ESC, you have to change the servo, and you have to figure out a way to hook up a receiver in here somewhere. That way you can have your ESC, receiver, and your servo working off of the receiver, unless you want to buy another one of these stock ones, which, you know, when you go brushless, like I want to with this thing, you can't run this ESC. So you got to figure all that out, which is what I did with this thing. It was a little bit easier because the chassis is a little thicker. That is one thing too. From the bottom, see, it's a lot like a Wltoys Twin Hammers, the design of it. It's got this nice thick chassis. It's not very long, but it's nice and thick. This has a really narrow chassis on it. So it's going to be harder to upgrade this guy opposed to this guy. And, you know, it takes the AA style kind of batteries, you know, the LiPo batteries that go in the side in here. And I mean, I don't really see a way to run a different battery pack due to layout. So this thing, I don't know if I'll be able to brushless upgrade it or not, but like I said, it is decently quick out of the box. It is substantially funner to drive stock than this thing is. The suspension's a lot better, you know, it's got a lot more, I would say, resistance than this, you know. This one's kind of just flops around and bounces and everything. This one's a lot more controllable, a lot more fun, a lot more speed. You know, the four-wheel drive works good. But both of these things are hard to get parts for. It is really hard to get parts for these things, you know, unless you can find a good website. I found a website. I'll put it in the description below. I can't remember what it is, but it sells parts for this and parts for this. So, yeah, that's the size comparison. I mean, basically, they are, you know, almost the same thing. Slightly shorter wheelbase and slightly longer chassis layout stock, but it's real easy to do this upgrade right here. To cut all that stuff off and make it look like this. But you do have to modify the battery tray and stuff if you want to run a bigger battery like I did. And this thing, you know, you can buy good batteries for it online pretty easily. You know, it comes with 1500 milliamp hour. I bought 3000 milliamp hour, and unfortunately the rear diff broke the first time I took it out when I let my wife drive it. So I'm just gonna get the parts to fix the diff, and then we'll continue running videos on both of these. We'll review them and you know, go from there. So I hope this satisfied your request. Once again, it's for Drew Down, the size comparison between the Wltoys Across and the HBX Dune Thunder. Like, subscribe, thumbs up if you liked this video, thumbs down if you didn't, and stay tuned to Killer Off-Road Hobbies because we got a lot more coming at you guys. Killer Off-Road Hobbies. Peace.